You know, I write my scripts way before I start the editing of the video, and I have the feeling that this will be a short one. Anyways, welcome back to Nocturne Fusion, and today we aim for godhood. After my Thor fight, I remembered something. Now that I have all 24 Magatamas, I can enter the Cathedral of Shadows and have a friendly chat with Mido, the Cathedral's keeper. He gives us the Lord Sword, asking us to bring it to the tomb of the Guardian of Tokyo, Lord Masakado. Where is this tomb, you may ask? Closer than you think, it's just outside the obelisk area on a cliff. Luckily, the changing scenery caused by the descent of the Tower of Kagetsuchi hasn't done anything to make it disappear. We place the Lord's Sword on it, and we can now access the last secondary dungeon in the game, the Bandou Shrine. This place is an outright maze and you can't access the map, so I hope you have a good memory and bearing of your surroundings. What we want to do is lower the main shrine by removing the 4 pillars keeping it up. Pillars guarded by the 4 devas, says a soul. Anyway, if you take the yellow teleporter, it won't take long to reach the first pillar, the southern one, and we find the first deva, Zochoten. Believe it or not, this is the easiest pillar, despite all of them being level 99 with capped stats. His strategy will mostly revolve on using Dragon Eye and using Makakaja and blast you with electric magic. Something easily circumventable by having protection to it. However, it does also have Megidonal in its arsenal, so don't be too lax. Also, if Thunder Magic paralyzes you, you will also use Beast-Eye, Focus, and a normal attack on that paralyzed ally. Overall, the fight isn't too hard, and the only real annoying thing is the fact that it has 20,000 HP and takes a while to bring it down. A prolonged fight might not be what you want, but if you have Wind Magic and Electricity Nullification, this fight is technically speaking a joke. Side note on random encounters. Demons in here cannot be recruited. They all belong to the Avatar, Deity, and Dragon races mostly, which are all light aligned and can't be talked to. About 5 minutes after the first Deva, I reached the western one, Komokutan. This guy takes a bit more effort to bring down. His AI pattern is different. He will buff his defense, lower yours, and hit you with wind magic or physical attacks. Since he has no Dekunda or Dekaja, lowering his offense and agility is key to survive, more than lowering his defense. Rangda is very good in this fight because of her debilitate and physical repel. The major problem is that he lowers your defense every turn. Once he's at -4, things can get dicey quick. However, wind and physical protection on your team will generally serve you well. Once his defense is maxed out, you will also buff his magic for good measure, but at that point, if you have focused on minimizing his agility and buff your own, why not? This won't matter at all. From here on, you may notice that the video is slightly more blurry. That's because I lowered the emulator graphics setting since my PC was acting up a bunch back then. Just thought I'd let you know beforehand. I make my way to the bottom of the dungeon, where the third Deva, the eastern one Jigokuten, awaits. The ice pillar here has pretty much the same AI pattern that the electric one has. Dragon Eye, Makakaja, and Ice Magic spamming. He does have a few more moves in its arsenal like Tetrakarn, Torunda, and Rakunda, but it's really rare that he uses them anyway. Again, if you know Ice, this fight is a complete joke, so much so that you could do this on auto battle and go make dinner in the meantime. Not that I would 100% suggest this, however. Just exploit his fire weakness, heal when necessary, or blast him with focused attacks, and his 20,000 HP will be gone before you know it. One pillar left, the northern one, and I left it for last on purpose. Waiting for us there is an old acquaintance, the fire pillar, the shaman. If you expect to fight him like the other three Devas, you're in for a rude wake-up call. His AI pattern is more branched out compared to the other three. He can use Makakaja 4 times and use fire magic, cast Tarukaja 4 times and blast you with Tempest, or a normal attack that hurts like hell, and thankfully he does not have focus, or even worse, use Megidolon 4 times in a row when you're nullifying both fire and physical at the same time. There's no surefire way to cheat this 100%. Also, it has the Kaja, and even worse, Debilitate, to be a thorn in your side, and he will use them almost constantly throughout the fight. Having Dante and Black Frost for this was a godsend for me. Dante was there to heal debuffs and be an overall badass and DPS damage, while Black Frost was my lifeline, repelling fire, resisting physical damage by 90%, and also using ice, which is the boss's weakness. Many say that this is literally the strongest boss in the game if you're doing a solo run, even harder than the final boss, and I can see why, since you have no way to actually nullify every single attack of his, unlike the electric and ice pillar, and come out alive to tell the tale. This fight is essentially a back and forth between keeping DPS high, healing constantly, removing my buffs and his own buffs, and I lost count of how many times he dodged my ice attacks. But in the end, even the great Bashaman had to bow to me. But I'll give it credit where credit is due. This was an amazing fight, a perfect mixture of hard, challenging, and rewarding at the very end.
Are you ready?
With the 4 pillars gone, the shrine descends and we can finally enter it. Inside, we find the spirit of the Guardian of Tokyo, Masakado Taira, and he grants us his power in the form of the 25th Magatama, the Masakado's Magatama. This little thing is an absolute gem. Not only it boosts all stats except for luck by 10 points, but it makes you immune to every single affinity in the game with the exception of Almighty. This is as close as we can get to the power of God in the literal sense of the phrase. Also, little fun fact, if you got the Masakado's Magatama before the fight with Thor in the Tower of Kagetsuchi, which is 100% possible by the way, he would have had absolutely no way to actually touch you at all. You could have easily soloed that fight and literally gone on auto battle and you would have won. With this little gem in hand, we are now ready to go toe-to-toe with the final stretch of the game. And that is all for this week's video. I am sorry if it was way shorter than usual. This video will overall turn out to be like 10 minutes at best. Although, this was the last side quest that I had to do, and I'll be 100% open with you. There is a reason why this video is going to be shorter, but I'll get to it very quickly. Before closing off, I have one small announcement to make. I will make a video about the final stretch of the game, like I've always done, and upload it here on this channel. However, between today, Sunday, June 13, and next Sunday, June 20th, I will be streaming all the footage of part 20 on my Twitch channel. So if you want to see it happen live, make sure you leave a follow there too, so you will know when I go live with that. Link to my Twitch channel in the video description. Also, the VOD of that stream will be re-uploaded unedited on my second channel, Bahamut Rewind, marking the beginning of my uploads there as well. If you missed the stream, that's where they will be once the VOD will expire on Twitch. Once again, link to my second channel in this video's description. And I think this is where we part ways for now. This has been Bahamut Raven, the Hell Gate is closed, and I hope to see you plenty for the final round against the final boss of this game. Have a nice day, and take care.